everyone, this is Jennifer from Junk Journals by Jen, where journaling is about the journey. Today I want to touch on a subject that I think is really important, and that is how to start junk journaling if you are afraid. And I know this is a common issue because I belong to many online groups, and this gets brought up over and over again. If this resonates with you, then I hope this will help kickstart your junk journaling journey. So let's dive right in. The first point is to have the basic tools ready. And what I consider the basic tools for junk journaling are an awl or a crocodile to make holes in your book. You need some wax thread, a big-eyed needle. I like the blunt ones. Plastic is fine. You need a book. In order to do the style that I'm going to show you today, we're going to use a book. You can obviously make them out of other things, but this is a simple method, and I'm going to show you that. A utility knife, some tape, a selection of papers, and some glue. And those are the basic supplies. Okay, so that's the first point. Now, I did find this cool little kit on Amazon that was $6.99, and it's a bookbinding kit. And it comes with an awl, some wax thread, some assorted needles, and some of them are large-eyed. I'm not so cracked up about them because they're kind of pointy, but you also get a couple of bone folders in here. Now, I don't consider those necessary because you can use your fingers or the end of a scissors, but they sure are nice to have, and I love mine. But that's $6.99, and I'll link it below. So don't invest a lot of money in supplies until you know your style. And that's my point number 2. It may change over time. And I want to tell you a story about a friend of mine who wanted to start junk journaling about a year ago. And she was so excited to get herself a die cut machine. And she bought one, and she bought tons of dies and embossing folders and everything to go with it. And then a year later, she told me, I wish I would have waited until I knew what my style was going to be because I never used that. And she spent all that money on it. And, you know, she can, of course, sell it on Marketplace or somewhere and get some of that money back. But it just goes to show, like, you don't need all that stuff to junk journal. And there are so many free supplies out there. For example, napkins, catalogs, junk mail, etc. I'll link a video below that gives more complete list of free supplies available to you. Now, number 3, I think it's a good idea to use 1 to 2 signatures to start your first journal. Now, I'm talking to people that haven't made a journal yet because they're afraid to start. I'm not talking to you old timers out there that are, you know, whipping out 8 signature journals. But let's start off by talking about what is a signature. A signature is a collection of papers, like the one in my hand, that have been put together and are then sewn or glued into a book or a journal. And then they're like that. So you would have a collection of these in a book, and books are made this way as well. That's a signature. Why do I think it's a good idea to start with 1 or 2? Mainly because if you look at a sheet of paper, this is 1 sheet of paper and a signature. 1 sheet of paper has, when it's folded to go into a signature, has 1, 2, 3, 4 pages to it. So if you have a signature with 10 sheets, and that's what mine usually run, is 10 sheets and a signature. That's 10 sheets with 4 sides, that's 40 pages. If you do 2 signatures, that is 20 sheets with 4 sides or 80 pages. And I feel like that's a good amount for a beginning journal. So 1 to 2 signatures is not an overwhelming amount to decorate. That's why I suggest starting with a smaller journal like that, just to keep it something that won't overwhelm you when it comes time to finish it later on. Now, I recommend using 8.5 by 11, and this is point number 4, 8.5 by 11 template of paper when starting out. It's just because this size paper, which these are, and a lot of the paper in here is copy paper that has been either coffee dyed like this, or jelly printed like this, or I took scrapbook paper and cut it down like this, but they're all 8.5 by 11 now. And then they fit in the majority of hardcover books. You see? They fit right in there. Now, it's important that you make sure that they're going to fit into the book that you want to work in, or that you pick a book that will hold these papers. If not, you can always, like I said, cut down your papers to fit that book. Number 4, oh, that was number 4. The other reason being that most DigiKits are printed on this size paper in the US. Okay? Get a little T here. Number 5, and this one trips up people a lot. And I'm not saying to not have a theme, but I'm saying that no theme is needed. For example, here, this is not a theme, but it's got a couple butterfly papers in it, and that's fine. But it's just papers that I like, just papers that I thought were pretty, and so I'm putting them together. No theme to it, and that's what I recommend for your first journal, is to have an eclectic journal for your first one. If a theme is holding you back, it can just be filled with papers that you love. And one idea is to turn your first journal into a practice journal where you practice different techniques as you learn them, okay? And if you would do me a favor and please like if you're finding value here today, I would really appreciate it. Now, number 6 is to get friendly with the 3-hole pamphlet stitch. I was terrified of this. I did everything to avoid it. I'll tell you what, I didn't sew anything. I tied my signatures in with ribbons. I tied them in with elastic. I did everything but sew them into a book. When I finally got brave enough, it was probably my 4th or 5th journal, to try a 3-hole pamphlet stitch, my world changed. It was so easy. And then I went back and took all those sad books that I had made before and sewed all those into journals too, because they're so secure when they're sewn in. And I'm going to show you how to do it right now. So this is a book that I have already taken out the text block. All of the pages are already taken out. I reinforced the spine and I covered it with duct tape, decorative duct tape, this pretty gold. And now I'm going to punch holes in it with an awl. And then I'm going to show you how to do the 3-hole pamphlet stitch. Easy peasy. So first thing we need to do is put some holes in here, and we just need 3 because we're just doing one. It's very narrow, so we're just going to do one signature. So we just need them to line up, and we need to make sure And I usually like to take you might need a pen too or something here. I'm going to take my white pen. I'm going to take your pages here, and you want to make sure your holes encompass your paper. So it needs to be far enough down here to encompass your paper, and then about in the middle, and then encompass the bottom too. It pushes through very easily. And then the last one. Okay, so we have 3 holes there. Now we need to put 3 holes in our pages too. I did not bring any paper clips over, so we're going to hold it real good. I usually paper clip this together before I punch holes in it. Since I don't have any paper clips, I'm going to use my Crop-A-Dile. And what I do is turn my papers inside out. We want to make sure the top is facing up, and it is. We line it back up where it goes. And we're just going to put a little pencil mark there where we want to do our hole. And I'll show you how the Crop-A-Dile works. You just put it on the 1/8 hole. And then open this back the right way. You simply squeeze down, and it will reach all the way to the middle. And then you turn it around and do the bottom. Okay. All right, we're going to set that down carefully so it doesn't move. And we get our wax thread. That silver here I'm going to use. And what you want to do is take that, and you're going to take it 3 times the height of your project. So 1, 2, 3 times the height of your project. And we need a pair of scissors to cut this. Should have said scissors. Okay. Put this through our big-eyed needle here. Take this, and what you do is you go through the middle, hole, gotta kind of wiggle that out of there. Leave a tail. You don't want to pull that all the way through. Just leave a tail. Come back up through the bottom. Okay, leaving your tail still. pull it tight, and then you go up through the top, and then out through that last hole. Okay, and then finally, you bring it back through this middle one, and then you want to bring it on the other side of this string here. Okay, so you'll have the tail on one side and your needle on the other. Pull that all the way through, and you can take your needle off now. And I always like to make sure that everything looks right on this side, and it does. Okay. Kind of even this up a little bit so I have more room to tie. Okay, and then I tie it pretty tight. One, then I tie it the other way. Two, and then I just do it one more for good measure in the other direction. Three. And that is bound in there, and it's very tightly bound in there, very sturdy. And that is a 3-hole pamphlet stitch. I will also link below another video on how to do it that shows you cutting out the pages and doing the tape and everything, reinforcing your spine. That will walk you through the whole thing, start to finish, in case you've not seen that. I will link that below for you. Okay. So now you're friendly with the 3-hole pamphlet stitch. Point 7 of starting when you are afraid is that now that you've got your book bound, not every page needs a pocket or embellishment. It's okay to leave some writing room. For example, if I'm going to finish this journal now, I would maybe just put a little stencil on this page or a little sticker or embellishment here and just leave it blank for writing. You don't have to go page by page and decorate every single page in your journal. That can be overwhelming at first if you're trying to do that. I made my first journal, and I'll tell you, I made it 4 signatures, and I started at the beginning, and that's a bonus tip for you. Don't start at the beginning and do page after page after page necessarily, because you can get top heavy in your journal. You'll have so much decorating done in the beginning. Maybe you run out of ideas, or maybe you think that journal has enough decorating in there, but then the end looks weak because you started out doing every page at the front. So what I do is, if I had several signatures, I'd work in this signature on a page, flip to the back and work in my second signature a little bit, and then flip to the front and work in that one, like that. So it's balanced. Hope that makes sense. Okay, number 8 is to find some inspiration. There's lots of places we can find inspiration. YouTube, Pinterest, Facebook, TikTok, you know, all the usual suspects. But I just want to give you a word of caution. I see this all the time. I hear it from people that they spend so much time looking for inspiration that they don't have any time to actually craft. And I'm guilty of it too. So something I do, there's a couple of ways I handle this. One is to set a time limit. I'll either tell myself, okay, I'm going to watch YouTube videos for 30 minutes or an hour, and then I'm going to start crafting, or I will only watch YouTube videos while I'm crafting. And then that way I'm getting something done while I'm being inspired. So if you're finding that to be a problem for you, that maybe will help solve it. Number 9 is to not be afraid to ask for help. Maybe join a community. I've found some really great ones on Facebook, for one thing. One of them is Soul Fuel for Creative Women, and Suzanne Sherrard heads that up. I really love that group. There's Junk Journaling for Beginners. Junk journaling and scrapbooking is a great one. Another resource is to ask questions on YouTube of the creators. I know I love to be a resource for new journalers. It's a really great community, and the people who watch these videos, lots of them have wonderful advice and ideas, so don't hesitate to ask questions in the comments, okay? And most importantly, number 10, and I do find this to be the absolute most important point, it's only paper. There's no pressure. You can fix anything. Did you sew something in upside down? Easy. Did you mess up with a stamp? No problem. You get the idea. There's really nothing that can't be fixed. Now that you're ready to start your own journal, click the playlist at the end to learn how to build and decorate a journal start to finish. Also, visit me at my Etsy shop, which is linked below, and enjoy yourselves. Until next time, bye everyone.